He's getting older.
Champagne room.
Oh, hit the volume button.
But not wiser.
That is totally absurd.
This is The Lefty Show.
Welcome, everybody, to The Lefty Show. I am your host, Lefty. Glad to be here with all of you today. Thursday, the 4th of September in the year of our Spaghetti Monster 2014. Welcome one, welcome all to episode number 84 of The Lefty Show. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can go to find the show in its YouTube formation. Thank you to everybody that has been sharing the show with friends, family, and coworkers. We're growing and growing each and every day that everybody shares the show, which is easier to do now. You can find podcasts of the show wherever you get your podcasts, Android, iOS, or the iTunes Store. Just search The Lefty Show. You'll be sure to find us, and be sure to subscribe and download the episodes at your leisure as well. We're going to, I was going to do something different today. In fact, I even started out recording a show on Adobe Audition, but it was just weird. I'm just such a creep for change. Change just comes after me, and I'd say, "What are you doing here? Get away from me." I don't like change. It scares me. I was aware, everybody. I saw comments on YouTube. I'm aware, and I found them after the recording of the, I don't even know what to call it. It sounded like some weird rumbling, some weird distortion of the audio file in my recording of the last Lefty Show on Tuesday. We took yesterday off. I'll talk about that later. But I'm aware of it. I saw it. I heard it, and I don't know what it was. It was native to the recording. So I'm either thinking there was some interference in my analog setup in my board, or it was something, it was just a quirk of OBS. Sometimes maybe OBS is just being weird. I'm not sure. I'm going to try it again. I haven't changed anything. I'm going to do it again, and if it happens again, well, then we know that it's a thing, and it's not just, okay, this one time it happened. If it happens again, then I'm going to, I'll do it, on my own time, not on Showtime, or Cinemax, or HBO, or Stars, but I'll go through and figure out what the problem is. I just honestly don't know. It was a weird rumbling, a weird distortion of my voice from time to time. It didn't appear to be periodic at all, in terms of like having a definite period or a definite cycle. Didn't appear to be cyclic. I have no idea. It could have been OBS, could have been my setup, could have been, I don't know, my cell phone. I have no idea. But know this, OBS, you are hereby put on notice that Adobe Audition is waiting in the wings to take your place. Even though it would result in a little bit more editing on my part, if you're just going to all of a sudden now be introducing weird artifacts. And sometimes OBS does that too. It just skips. It'll just, if you've heard it, you've probably heard it before and you didn't know what it was, and you thought it may have been an error in playback on your device, on your PC, your internet hiccuping. No. If you've heard a little like jump cut in the Lefty Show, where I all of a sudden go to another word in the middle of a different word, that's OBS doing that. I don't know why it does it. I have no idea where it comes from. No clue. And that's, why can't anything work? I want something that works. OBS is free, and I'm grateful for OBS being free. But even on something like XSplit, I paid for XSplit, and XSplit would suck. XSplit is awful. And why can't anything just work anymore? Why can't anything work out for me, or something I want to do when I say I'm going to do this? Yesterday I didn't do a show because I got a shipment of foam that I'm using to absorb sound in my studio. I figured, if I'm going to make a go, if I'm going to make a go of voiceover work, a serious go. I've been doing it on and off here and there, just for crappy little. Somebody's like, "Hey, I got $100 for you." Okay, but if I'm going to actually go for it and try to produce a commercial demo and find work and do a lot of commercial work and make a thing out of this, and perhaps even then use that as a springboard to something else, radio, whatever, more podcasting, who knows, everybody knows I love podcasting. I figured, all right, well, I got to have a studio where I'm not echoing. It's not an echo chamber, because if you've listened to this show loud enough, certainly you've heard when my voice gets loud, you've heard a little bit of it echoing off the hard surfaces of the wall. So I got some foam. More's coming today. I spent $200 on egg crate foam, because screw spending $48 for 48 or what is it? What did it turn out to be? It turned out to be like the lowest I found was $5 a square foot. Acoustic foam, real acoustic foam is something like the lowest I've found is $5 a square foot, which is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I got a 12 square foot or however many square feet a full size or a twin size mattress is, whatever the square footage is of that. I got it for $20, 3 inches foam, and so yesterday it came, and I've been devising ways to hang it, and I got these 3M little strips, and they came along with the foam, and I'm like, all right, now today is the day. This is the day when I cease being just some weird guy. You hear crazy echoes and stuff. No, this is going to sound a lot more studio quality. I can't wait. And I get going, and all the foam comes, and they're the 3M double-sided little adhesive stuff that they say can hold like 5 pounds if you use enough of them. And I'm like, okay, it's foam. How hard could it be to hang foam, to be adhesed to foam? It can't be that hard, right? It can't be incredibly difficult to be a foam adhesive. So I'm doing it. And I hang one sheet of foam, and then I hang another. The foam came right about the time I would normally record the show, and I was doing the should I do this or should I not version of like when you have to pee and you're doing the pee dance. Like, do I have enough time to do this? What do I do? So I decided, all right, no, screw it. I'm going to hang the foam and then record the show, because, well, then it will have studio quality. So I hang one sheet of foam, it's a full size or twin sized mattress pad, and I hang it, and then I put the strips on it, and then it hangs there and it's standing there, and I'm like, all right, this was easy. Foam pad number 2, I got 4 of them. There's 3 more coming, and then 2 king sized ones, just for Then I figured I could cut them up and put them on the ceiling and whatnot. So I started hanging the second pad. And then I start hearing like little crickling, like creaking sounds. Like, I'm like, what the hell? What is that? What could that possibly be? And in the midst of hanging foam pad number 2, foam pad number 1 falls on my monitor. And what happened? Well, it had peeled off the 3M adhesive. It had come off, and wow, damn it. So I put more on there. I tried to use a little bit of duct tape too, because duct tape fixes everything, and nothing would work. So what the hell could be the problem? What if it's too heavy? I thought to myself, what if it's too heavy? So then, this is about an hour and a half already. I've already spent an hour and a half bitching and crying about trying to get this to work. I said, well, what if I take a box cutter, take over some planes, but then once I'm done taking the planes over, I come back, I land the plane, come back, and I cut up the pad so that each individual I'll end up using more adhesive strips, but each individual pad won't be as heavy. I figure, all right, that's logical. I give myself a pat on the back. Good job, it's good. You did good. You had that's one of the times I say once in a while, not all the time. Once in a while, the old noggin will come up with something. It'll be like, hey, it's a good idea. This. I say, Mother of God, it is. It happens once a month. I'm good for one. So this was my idea. And so I spend another 40 minutes cutting up, measuring and cutting and trying to cut straight, and I'm awful at cutting things straight. And I cut up all the foam that I got. And so I come back and and now I'm like, okay, I'm going to use the same number of adhesive strips that I did on the pads, the mattress pads, when they were the full size, or the foam pads, the mattress foam pads, when they were the full size, there's no way that they are too heavy now for these 3M strips, which say on the box that they can hold 5 pounds. Up to 5 pounds. And I'm like, okay, 5 pounds. There's no way this thing weighs 5 pounds. No way. I don't even have to put it on a scale. There's no way this 2 foot by 24 by 33 inch section that I have right now is more than a pound. No way. So I start hanging them, and I'm hanging them, and they're staying, and I'm like, yay! All right, I've found the answer. This is good. And now in my head, while I'm doing it, you know, I get into the mode of just boom, ba boom, ba boom, and then hang, and then boom, ba boom, ba boom, and then hang. And then I figure, and in my head, this is going to be so cool. Oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be amazing. This is going to be amazing. I can't wait to do more of this. And I start doing the math, and I say, crap, I wish the rest of the foam was here today, because I want to do the entire thing so that it's like a real deal studio, and I have that real deal studio sound without any kind of crazy echoing. And then I start hearing the creaking sound again. Then I start hearing the and then poof, a pad falls off. And then poof, another pad falls off. And it's just, you know, why can't anything ever work out the way you originally intended to? Because it happens all the time. Your mind's eye, you want to do something, and your mind says, you know, this would look pretty cool if it was done this way. And if you did that, think about how cool that would look. And you say, oh, yeah, I'm going to go about doing that. And so you, whatever it is, you know, you want to build something. You want to wall you want to repaint your apartment, or you want to put up foam in your studio, or you want to make something. You want to try something new. So you gather all the supplies, and then you start doing it, and then it doesn't work. And why can't just anything work? Why can't it just, why does OBS insist upon screwing me? Why are there just little things too, that OBS would just screw up? I'm trying to hang foam, and it kind of worked with my original, not my original plan, but the second iteration of my plan. Cut them up so they're lighter, and you're more likely then going to get some serious hanging done. None of it worked. It's just and little things. Just, oh, well, there may be hiccups here and there, jump cuts that you don't intend. Or, well, you know, they'll hang for a couple hours maybe, and it sounds good. Trust me, it sounds good. There's still some hanging on the wall somehow. I don't know. And again, that's the other thing too. Well, some of it may hang, others may not. So others will fall off eventually. You don't know. We don't know really. We're 3M. We have these products that we push on people that we say work but end up not. So we don't know. You know, I don't know. There's still some hanging on the wall. It sounds pretty good. And I got to tell you, if you are a musician, if you're an aspiring podcaster or even YouTuber, let me tell you that, especially because I see a lot of people, because Gassy Mexican, Eat My Diction, and Gold Glove use the Audio-Technica AT2020. I believe they use the 2020. A lot of people are using condenser microphones. And let me tell you, condenser microphones, if you are a aspiring YouTuber, they pick up everything. If you crank up the gain just a little bit because you want to get that crisp sound of your voice, they will pick up a helicopter flying by, you know, within a 5-mile radius. You'll hear in the background. So my advice to you is to invest. If you're going to invest in a microphone, also invest in some sound absorbing material. But I'm with you when you look around and say $5 a square foot is the cheapest for acoustic foam, because you've already spent $200 on the microphone, maybe more if you include the interface, maybe even more if you include the PC and software. And now you've got to spend $5 a square foot to line the walls of your apartment so that, you know, it doesn't sound like an echo chamber. Son of a bitch. Damn it. And I'm with you with there. And I do a lot of research on the forums, and a lot of people say, oh, you know, egg crate foam. Some people say egg crate foam. And other guys will say, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let me tell you, it kind of works. It's not perfect. I'm not going to be calibrating acoustic instruments in here. Like, that G chord, that G sharp, it's a little bit, a little flat there towards the end. A little bit of falling off. But if you want to absorb sound and not have a lot of echo for what you do, if you don't want to have, I believe it's called reverb. If you don't want that, if you're talking to a hard surface, a lot of people put themselves up against the wall. I'm the other way. My back is to the wall. If you're talking to a hard surface or you're talking to an open chamber, there's going to be some echoing. And so egg crate foam, which you can find on Amazon, really cheap, it works. But don't use the 3M strips. Don't use the adhesive strips that everybody else says to use. Don't use the double-sided adhesive strips from 3M because they suck for this application. I mean, maybe they work, when it's hard surface to hard surface, because I can see, all right, well, I'm trying to attach this adhesive to this foam, and the foam has a lot of air in it, and it's not just a very consistent surface, so there's not a lot of the adhesive to actually adhere to. All right, okay, I get it. So what I'm going to do later today, after recording this show, recording it earlier in the day, is I'm going to go get some either some fiberboard or some other foam board, and then a spray adhesive that I did some research on that is used in upholstery. Get some spray adhesive, spray it on the foam board or the fiberboard or the whatever else, and then press the foam, my acoustic foam, onto that fiberboard or board backing. And then if I get 2 or 3 foam pieces to a board, all I have to do is hang with thumbtacks or finish nails or something. I can hang that way, and it'll be much, much easier. So that is my advice to you, home studio people of the world. Foam, egg crate foam, much beloved by garage bands for a reason. It works for most amateur applications. Again, you're not calibrating instruments here. You're not taking sirens in here to make sure that they meet some standard that the police departments need. You're not taking things in here to get accurate audio readings or anything like that. But you're just looking to limit a little bit of reverb, and egg crate foam works. It's just, damn it all, if my plan originally did not at all come to fruition because the damn 3M adhesive strips just... And the worst part is that they fail in different ways. Sometimes they'll fail because the foam won't adhere to the adhesive strip, which I get, again, because it's not a consistent surface. But other times it'll stick to the foam just fine, and then it'll come off the wall. Pick a way to fail. At least tell me how you're failing. It's not enough. I can accept that it just failed. That something fails. Okay, all right. My whole life is a failure. I'm used to it. I'm used to failure. I am. Everything I do eventually fails. Everything. Okay, at least tell me why you fail. Give me a clue as to why you fail, and one of the ways to do that is to show me how you fail. Okay, OBS, tell me how you fail when you create little random jump cuts, because I don't want to use audio or Adobe Audition because it's a new program and I'm scared of change. Tell me how you fail, and at least give me a chance to try to fix the failure. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. I had an interesting day on Twitter yesterday. I got called a homophobe. And it was a result. Some guy thought he was one-ups. I call it intellectual one-upsmanship. And I don't know if that's an apt descriptor, but if I was just a guy that all I did was play video games, suck at them, and try to be funny whilst sucking, there wouldn't be a lot of one-upsmanship in the comments and on Twitter. Because even when you play video games on YouTube and showcase your gameplay, if you are good or you purport yourself to be good, or the object of your gameplay is, oh, look at me dominating fools. Look at me out here wrecking fools. I'm out here just wrecking fools. Oh, look at this fool, wrecked. Look at that other fool, wrecked. You're going to get a lot of people that go, you suck. I'm totally better than you. Just complete non sequiturs. Because the point of the video is to just you watch and have fun. You be entertained watching. But people, I don't know how to describe the feeling. They may feel challenged. They may feel inadequate. They may feel insecure by watching somebody do something that they may or may not be able to do. I don't know what that is because I've never been good enough at crap like that. But you get I'm sure professional Call of Duty players get that a lot. Professional League of Legends players get that a lot. Lol, you suck. Lol, I could totally kick your ass. Because you're really good at something that I'm not that good at. And if I was just that, I wouldn't get a lot of this crap. But, I do a lot of... intellectually charged. Can I say that? Can I say that without somebody going, intellectual? I'm just going to get a shirt that says that just says pseudo intellectual on it. And that's it. That's just going to be the shirt. And I'm going to sell it, make money, and I'm just going to wear it. I'll wear it in every damn video. I'll get like 50 of the damn things. Here you go. Yes, fine. Whatever. You get crap like that. Just if you do anything of an intellectual nature, if you say, hey, you know what? I think this. Let's talk about this. Let's have discourse about this. Invariably, it invites people who will constantly try to one-up you. Try to say, no. Wrong about this, wrong about that, wrong about this, that, the other thing. It invites contrarianism because people, like those threatened by uber awesome kicking your ass, sticking it up your giggy gameplay in whatever game, it can be a sports game, a first-person shooter, a strategy game, whatever. Oh, you sucked here, you sucked that. I posted Civ 5, Civilization 5, right? Just screwing around with the PKA guys a couple months ago. And even then, there were people that would show up out of the woodwork. Lol, you suck at Civ 5, so much better at Civ 5 than you. It's like, okay, what the hell? But I get a lot of people again. They just come out and oh well, I feel threatened by your again, and I don't want to say they feel threatened by my intellectual prowess because that's to say that I have any intellectual prowess. I'm the same. I'm nothing if not somebody who again says a lot of dumb things. But I just I say a good thing once in a while. And a while back, I questioned, or a few shows ago, there was what's this guy's name? Daniel Pierce. I was right originally when I was recounting the video originally in the show. I talked about I think this guy's name is Daniel, and I was right. Daniel Pierce was the gay son who was showcased in a video that he shot surreptitiously of his family in his family's home, of him coming out to his family. Family not being receptive, of course. Backwards, hick. Southern accents, you can have all the science you want. I am going to go by the word of God. God. It's not enough to just say God. God. All right. Of course. So a guy, homosexual kid showcasing backwards archaic family. All right. And a lot of people were up in arms saying, look at how backwards his family is. Look at how awful his family turned out to be. Look at how awful his family is to him. And I was the one who said, this looks a lot like political theater to me. This looks a lot like somebody who's just not just being victimized. Because they're a victim. Somebody just walking down the street and some guy just comes up and that's a victim. The black guy just walking into a diner, and then the owner comes out, backwards cracker-ass owner comes out, we don't serve your kind here. That's a victim. I'm trying to get something to eat, you jackass. But this video, Daniel Pierce's video, the viral video, the way it looked a lot like it was not faked, but massaged. some soft manufacturing, if you will. Some assembly required for this video, for this victimized video. It looked as though, to me, as though he was, again, surreptitiously recording because he didn't want his family to know that they were being recorded in their own homes, in their own home. And also was kind of just a little, I'm going to go by, I believe in the word of God, and that is wrong. And then because the question about whether, or it's not even a question, but the fact that being gay is not a choice, that it just is irrelevant. Because, again, I'm all for if he was just being gay, if he just said, hey, I'm gay, and that his family just jumped on him and started beating the crap out of him, well, then that's just an absolute victim. And okay, you're entitled to your viral video and your $100,000. The guy raised $100,000 in donations on GoFundMe. By the way, I'm raising.com/643 Productions. You want to talk about a victim? Victim. Right here. I'm the guy that was like, hey, we have this agreement, right? And then one day, the other people on the other side of the agreement said, "Oh no, this isn't the way it is. This is not that stuff we agreed upon. Scratch that, reverse it. We're done." You want to talk about victim? Bam, right here. I didn't do anything. I was just a guy. Anyway, the guy. Again, that's one thing if he was a victim, but after you raise $100,000, I'm going to scrutinize you, and I'm going to criticize you. So I said, well, he was bringing up a lot of irrelevancies because his family was just being backwards and archaic and backwards-ass, cracker-ass white people in response to him saying he's a homosexual. But the biological, genetic-based science surrounding homosexuality not being a choice is completely irrelevant to you telling your family that you're homosexual. Completely irrelevant. It is the very definition of irrelevant. Why you are gay has nothing to do with you telling your family you are gay. You just are. Why are you, sir, why are you drunk? It doesn't matter why I'm drunk. I'm drunk. What do you want from me? Sir, why are you humping this fire post? There's, post. It doesn't matter why. I'm just humping it. What do you want? Leave me alone. Let me go hump things. Why this kid was homosexual is completely irrelevant. And to me, the only reason you would bring up irrelevancies like that is to try to just, you poke, you nudge, you prod, you push your backwards, archaic, cracker-ass family. Because after living with them for 20 years, if you push enough, you'll be able to get them to say some crazy things. Just like V. Stiviano, you push Donald Sterling enough, old curmudgeon man, I can't understand a word you're saying. You push him enough, he's going to start saying racist stuff. That's what he is a racist and a bigot. And you live with these people knowing that they are racists and bigots. And in coming out to them, you decided I'm going to surreptitiously record them so that they are more likely to not apply a filter between brain and mouth, and then I'm going to push them a little bit, and then I'm going to start with the entitled crap. Your father raised you, no matter what you are. Your father for 20 years put a roof over your head and put food in your mouth. That's not raising. Yes, it is. You liberal bitch. Yes, that's raising. Just because he didn't meet some arbitrary requirements you have set in your head about what it means to raise a homosexual son does not mean that it wasn't cool, the guy, your father, to make the house payments or the trailer payments and then put food in your mouth. So anyway, after all that, I get called a homophobe because, well, first I got called a bitch. And I'm nothing if not a stone-faced biatch. So I got called a bitch by this guy. I don't have the tweets in front of me. He said, yeah, that guy raised $100,000. That guy, that homosexual kid you made fun of, he raised $100,000. Bitch. Like, I'm supposed to feel bad. Like, yeah, he got you. He showed you by raising $100,000 from strangers. Okay, good for him. I mean, Yeah, liberals were very outraged at this guy surreptitiously recording family members and bringing up irrelevancies in an effort to prod and extract crazy, backwards, archaic, bigoted proclamations from them. Okay, and he did a good job of extracting said backwards, archaic proclamations. And he recorded it. Yay. That doesn't mean that he wasn't engaging in political theater. So I said, well, you know, what did I made a falsetto voice like that. I did a falsetto voice. Yeah, I mocked the guy a little bit. Yeah. Do you want to hear my old Jewish guy voice? Hello, it's me. I'm in the studio again. You want to hear my anybody who disagrees with me voice? You want to hear my fat black guy voice? Hey, man. Hey, y'all. What are you doing? Oh, man, I don't think I can do that. Oh. Yes, this is equal parts comedy and political proclamation show. I'm going to mock people, yes. And that makes me a homophobe? Like I said, you're a homophobe. Well, he didn't say you are a homophobe. He ended a sentence and then just said homophobe afterwards, which I can only assume means he was calling me a homophobe. And okay. I mean, and I asked him why. I said, well, what did I do that makes me a homophobe? He said, because you're ignorant of the plight of the young homosexuals. I said, yeah, because I'm not a young homosexual. I'm an old homosexual. No, I'm just kidding. Heterosexual. Still old, though. Still old. Old applies. The old part applies. I'm old, creaky. Creaky. Oh, man. I do 60 push-ups. And I'm just, the next day, I'm racked. Racked. Oh, God, it hurts. My shoulders are angry at me. I said, what makes me a homophobe? And it got down. We boiled down after a few rounds to the guy saying, well, you said things, you disagreed with this guy. You didn't go essentially saying, well, because you questioned this and you mocked him for that. And I realized something is very wrong with our society where questioning liberal, but in this sense, it's a liberal situation. A liberal, how do I say this? When questioning liberal ideals, when questioning manifestation of liberal ideals, in this sense being homosexual, targeted by bigots, receives just compensation, albeit from many other people. When that gets you labeled as a homophobe, when questioning, and it's everywhere. Again, it's not just liberal, but it's also not just it's not sexuality based. When questioning, saying, hey, maybe, yeah, okay, income and education contribute to crime rates, but maybe it's also a little bit on black people and black culture, the culture that black people ascribe to, or are more likely to ascribe to. Maybe that has something to do also with the fact that they commit more crimes than white people. Maybe that's why there's a lot of them in prison, a quote, overrepresentation of them in the prison population. Maybe there's other things going. Maybe it is actually something about them rather than, oh, society did this to you. There's no question that education and income have something to do with it. No question about that. And there's no question that, a lot of cops tend to be white. And you get a lot of white cops dealing with people, with minorities. And when you're a cop, you're dealing with the scum of the earth all the time. So you couple that with, I'm working with minorities, and every minority I see is scum of the earth because they're criminals. They tend to be criminals. I put the two together erroneously and arrive at the conclusion black people are scum of the earth. And so I look more for crimes from black people, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I get that. However, they still commit the crimes, don't they? They still deal the drugs. They still kill the street artist in Detroit. Huh? There was a story of a French street artist was murdered by 4 people. And there were 4 people were brought in for questioning of the murder or arrested on suspicion of the murder of this street artist, this French street artist in Detroit. And I just guessed, and I was clicking on the link and I just said, all right, let's take a guess. What kind of people? Huh? They did it. All right. I mean, sure, again, education and income definitely play a role, but that's not it. That's not just everything. Let's look at, okay, well, culture and what goes on in the culture and self segregation. What does that do? And all these things. Maybe is it not possible that, yeah, the black community, black culture is in part responsible for all these bad things, the ills that we want to blame on whitey, or we want to blame on the man, we want to blame on the system, we want to blame on the economy, on the educational system, on the economic system that left these people uneducated and poor. Maybe they had a part in it too, huh? That gets you labeled a racist. Why? Well, you're just a racist because we must have equality of outcome. And you say, wait a minute, equality of outcome? What happened to equal opportunity? Well, now you're a racist. You question, you say, maybe we shouldn't go around just arresting people based on the morning after word of a female. Maybe we shouldn't just go around arresting men and charging them with rape because a woman the morning after, or in a story I'm going to read in the news, more than a year after the fact, finally shows up and says, yeah, I was raped by this guy. Maybe we shouldn't go around doing that. Maybe there should be a little bit more investigation, a little bit more of a reined-in outrage surrounding this kind of stuff. Maybe we shouldn't just go around arresting people for that. Maybe it's not a good idea because that arrested on and charged with rape or sexual assault never, ever goes away. And if you're wrong, or you can't prove it, then that guy is screwed for life. For life. Maybe we shouldn't do that. Oh, you're pro-rape. Oh, you're just an evil person because you want women to get raped now. I said, no, no. And similarly, again, to show it's not a liberal, it's not inherent to liberals, everybody does it. People question me. I've done it before, sure. People question me and I just, you're a hater. You're just a hater. You're a hater. I've done it. You question, hey, maybe we shouldn't be spending tens of billions of dollars a year to go kill brown people in the Middle East. Oh, you want the terrorists to win, don't you? No. You know what? Maybe the TSA, without a warrant and without probable cause, shouldn't be feeling up my balls, my hoo-has. Maybe they shouldn't be feeling that up without a warrant or without probable cause. Maybe, call me crazy, but I think that's wrong. Oh, well, you want the terrorists to win. What, do you want people to die? You want children to die? It's something, again, is very wrong. I don't know what it is, but something is wrong where skepticism, healthy skepticism, even irrational skepticism, even people that are just being skeptical, but they're wrong. I applaud 9/11 truthers. I think they're wrong. I can't, strictly speaking, prove that they're wrong. But I have to applaud their skepticism because I believe skepticism to be healthy in society. Yes, question. Don't just, we need more black people in these jobs. We need more women in construction jobs. So let's just get women in construction jobs. Or we need more women in firefighting. Let's get women in firefighting. Excuse me. Hold on. Wait, is that a good idea? Oh, well, you're a bigot. You're a racist. You're backwards. Misogynist. Something is wrong in our society because questioning anything gets you labeled a homophobe, a racist, a bigot, a misogynist, pro-rape, for the terrorists, for dead children, for dead people. No. And I think a lot of it is people just being lazy because you don't want to engage in discourse. You don't want to engage on your topic because it's easier for you, or not you necessarily, but it's easier for people to go around just assuming, they spend a lot of time just thinking to themselves, it's really a problem that there's not a lot of women in firefighting. This is a real issue. Yeah, it's a real issue. Yeah. Oh my God, it's such an issue. How could anybody think it's not an issue? Okay, it's a given now that it's an issue that there's no women in firefighting. So let's assume this, let's take it as assumed, and then just go on about our business and treat everybody else as though they should have assumed this or that. And it's just laziness because you don't want to stop to think, you don't want to stop to have to substantiate your assumptions because it's easier to just assume that something's an issue, even though it might not be. And of course, you couple laziness with self-interest, because now you're a pundit with something to say. Now you are a grad student at Columbia. Let's get into some news here. This is from now you've got something to say. So you've got self-interest, and now you've got laziness. So bam, now we couple these things two together. It's an issue. What are you doing questioning this? Of course it's an issue. It can't not be an issue because I've convinced myself that it is. All right, let's do some news. We got a few things to talk about in the news today. University student vows to carry dorm room mattress until rapist is expelled. This has to do with our talk about questioning things in a liberal society, increasingly liberal. Although all societies are progressive, aren't they? Isn't that just a historical fact? All societies progress from conservative or to quote liberal. We are continually a progressive society, and that's been true for generations and throughout the eons. Anyway, jihadist beheadings sow fear, prompt Muslim revulsion, and nearly 1 in 10 California workers are in the country illegally, a study finds. It's the news with Lefty. Let's talk about all the news. This is from MSN.NZ. Columbia University Emma Sulkowicz has pledged to carry her dorm room mattress with her wherever she goes until her alleged rapist is expelled from the same school. The visual arts senior says she was raped 2 years ago by a fellow student at the college. She filed a police report against her attacker in May. All right, hold on. The visual arts senior says she was raped 2 years ago by a fellow student at the college. She filed a police report against her attacker in May and has spoken out about the difficulty rape victims face, convincing authorities about the validity of their claims. Yes, because they're going to arrest people based on nothing but your word. Yes. Oh, it's hard for a woman to it's hard for a woman to just say, yes, this guy raped me, and then get that bastard in prison. Yes. It should be that way. It should be even harder, because when the police come to get you and they slap the irons on you and throw you in jail and charge you and mugshot you and print you and well, we need to protect the identity of the rape victim. But here's this alleged, we'll cover it with alleged so it's all okay. Here's the guy that did it. Here's the alleged guy that did it. Here's the alleged rapist. Here's the alleged rapist. They're going to come and they're going to get you and they're going to deprive you of your freedom, deprive you of your liberty, force you to pay $250,000 bail. Then they're going to fingerprint you. Then they're going to keep you in jail or throw you in jail overnight if you can't pay bail until your hearing and all this stuff. And you're reported to the news as a rapist and rapist and rapist and rapist. Yes, it's hard. Duh. What makes it okay in people's heads? And I honestly want to know, what makes it okay in people's heads to think, I should just be able to walk into a police department and say, that guy did this to me, get him, clap him in irons. Quartermaster, take that man below and clap him in irons. Are we going back to that? Are we going back to a ship at sea where the captain just, clap that man in irons, get him below deck. We'll figure this all out later. Okay. Then I'm going to go around claiming rape against a lot of women. Just, there you go. Now you have that for the rest of your life. This is the society you wanted. I will go to prison making false rape claims just to show liberal society, hey, maybe there should be a little bit more investigative work done. This guy raped me more than a year ago. Okay, do you have any physical evidence? Well, no, because it was more than a year ago. All right, is there any kind of evidence? Were there witnesses? Were there people that, anything? Well, no. All right, so what the hell do you want? What do you want? You want us to just go arrest him, charge him with rape or sexual assault or aggravated sexual assault. You want us to charge him with all these things, right? Yeah, because he did it. All right. Well, we don't know you. And furthermore, we don't know what happened. But you want us to just go arrest this guy and charge him with a very serious crime, the fact of which the arrest and the charge will never, ever, 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 ever go away if we are wrong. And you want us to go and proceed from there, just based on your word, no evidence, no physical evidence, nothing. Yeah. Does that make sense? Why does that make sense to me? And you question it. My position of, well, maybe it should be a little harder for you to go around getting people arrested for sexual assault because it's a very serious crime, a very serious charge that will stay with them for life. And my skeptic point is, oh, well, you're pro-rape. You want women to get raped. Well, no. Of course rape is awful. And I have, is it sympathy or empathy? I'm going to look, all right, you know what? Here's what we're doing. We're going to look it up right now. I'm sick and tired of screwing it up. All right. Let's see. Grammar Monster then. Let's go to the Grammar Monster. Writers often confuse empathy and sympathy. These two words are similar in meaning, but they are not the same. If you use the wrong one, you will either change the meaning of your sentence or be spotted as someone who doesn't know the difference. Well, I say I don't know the difference, so I don't really care. Empathy. The noun empathy denotes the ability to understand and share the feelings of another. This ability usually derives from having shared the same or a similar experience. Okay, so empathy is I've been in your shoes. Sympathy. The noun sympathy denotes feelings of pity and sorrow for someone else's misfortune. So I can put myself in your shoes, or I feel sorry for somebody in your shoes. Okay, I have sympathy for rape victims. I've never been raped. Yet. It still might happen. I got some time left on the planet. There still may be somebody out there gonna get you. Stick it up your giggy. Still may be raped. Haven't been yet, so I don't have empathy. I have a sympathy. It's me, Mario, with the sympathy. So I have sympathy. Scusi. So I have sympathy for rape victims. I have sympathy for the crime of rape. I mean, that came out wrong. I have sympathy for people that are victims of sexual assault. Okay, but just because I sympathize with you does not mean I'm going to advocate you going a system, a society in which, based on little more than the word of somebody who may be just a disgruntled lover, will go and just start arresting people. Oh, wow, arrest. The guy, Sons of Guns, the proprietor of Red Jacket Firearms, had the reality show Sons of Guns showcase on the Discovery Channel, was arrested for the second time for allegedly repeatedly raping his 13-year-old daughter. And it was, again, a heinous crime. Everybody's freaking out. Oh, my God, did you see? This guy raped his daughter. It's the second time he's been arrested. That pretty much means he did it. And everybody, oh, he did it. Well, as it turns out, again, he's going to have his day in court. He's still in the court system. It's not like they're just, oh, well, you're done now. He's going to have his day in court and he's going to be able to mount his defense. And I wish him well, because something that not a lot of people are talking about when talking about who is Sons of Guns. Let's bring it up. Will Hayden, that's the guy. Will Hayden, proprietor of Red Jacket Firearms. What a lot of people fail to mention when talking about Will Hayden being arrested for the second time for repeatedly raping, allegedly, his 13-year-old daughter, is that he's in the middle of a very nasty divorce. Does that set off any alarms? Because this wasn't like he was caught in bed with her. This was some kind of, I believe, an indictment of some kind, and he was arrested. So this was based on the word, probably, of the daughter. And do you think maybe the mother? Is it possible? But if we live in a society where just, oh, you're accused of rape, and it's very easy to convince the authorities to go arrest people for sexual assault and aggravated sexual assault, rape, and all that stuff, this is what we get. We get, in the middle of a nasty divorce, Will Hayden, who may or may not have actually raped his 13-year-old daughter. I don't know. But here's the thing. Does the fact that he's going through a nasty divorce right now, or at the very least has a disgruntled wife, the mother of the child, does that raise an eyebrow? Does that at least raise an eyebrow for you? If it does, that's exactly why it should be a little bit hard to convince authorities to go around arresting people on charges of sexual assault. So now, In her own personal protest against the university's sexual assault policies, Miss Sulkowitz will carry her mattress with her as part of her senior thesis in the hope that her attacker will be expelled. Rape can happen anywhere. For me, it happened in my own bed. Since then, it's basically become fraught for me, and I feel like I've carried the weight of what happened there with me since then. Miss Sulkowitz started the protest on September 2nd and protested on her Facebook page, or posted on her Facebook page, that she was humbled by all of the support from anti-rape campaigners. And that's the fundamental problem, is that if you are merely skeptic of the idea of just blithely going about arresting people for sexual assault because, hey, we've got this court system, this woman says she was raped, let's just arrest them, and then you'll have your day in court, and if you're innocent, well, then you'll be found innocent, right? So what's the big deal? Well, then you got the charge of sexual assault following you for the rest of your life. The inherent problem is that if you are merely skeptic of that, the people who support Emma Sulkowitz in this campaign to get a guy who, oh, by the way, has never been convicted of a crime or of this crime, not been convicted. She wants to get him expelled from the school he probably paid a lot of money to go to. And just because this girl's got to burr up her ass, now, oh, well, we got to expel this guy. Because all the pro-Emma Sulkowitz people are anti-rape. They've aligned themselves as anti-rape. Now, if you are skeptical of Emma Sulkowitz and her campaign, well, you must be against her and her compatriots and the people that support her. Well, if the people that support her are anti-rape, well, then what you be? Or what must you be? What are you? Now, you're not really pro-rape, are you? But when you are skeptic of anti-rape people, well, what do you look like? We need to stop this anti-rape crap. Everybody's anti-rape, except for the rapists. And how many people in this society are rapists? Are we all rapists? Are all men rapists? No. What percentage of men could possibly be rapists? Not like, oh, could be accused of rape because he had sex with a girl, is a little bit too drunk, and maybe have been a little too forceful. I'm talking about aggravated sexual assault. What percentage of men are lying in wait like, oh, I can't wait to gonna get you? 5%? Is that, I don't know, is that high or low? Let's call it 10%. That means 90% of the population will view the women that really want to, bump uglies with 14-year-old boys. We'll view that percentage as negligible, marginal, nothing. So ordering on 90% of society is against rape. We don't like it. Nobody likes it. 90% of society does not like rape. We are very much anti-rape. We're not like, yeah, get her. She was asking for it. Everybody's anti-rape. Everybody's anti-aggravated sexual assault. Everybody. Pretty much. Except for the people who want to do it. So to say, well, I'm anti-rape is drawing a line in the sand across which nobody is standing. You're saying, oh, well, I'm anti-rape. What are you? Well, I'm anti-rape as well, but I'm also going to question Emma Sulkowitz, and I'm going to critique her, and I'm going to not be happy with her because based on nothing more than her word, she wants somebody expelled and charged with a sexual crime. That's a pretty hefty deal. That's a big, tall order for this biatch. Now I'm going to carry my little mattress for my senior thesis. On what? I don't know. Good luck carrying the mattress. I guess. Why aren't you carrying the box spring too? The box spring helped, didn't it? Oh, is it a little too heavy? Oh, maybe she's going to be a firefighter next. In other news, jihadist beheadings sow fear prompt a Muslim revolution. This is Dateline Beirut. Brutal beheadings recorded on video by the jihadist Islamic State are intended to terrorize the group's enemies, but are also angry and alienating the Muslims the group claims to represent. On Tuesday, the jihadist group released a new video purporting to show the beheading of Steven Saltov, the second U.S. journalist to be decapitated by its fighters in a fortnight. Wow! Fortnite making a return. I like it. The video was described as sickening by the United States and provoked widespread anger as well as fear, which experts say is precisely the group's intention. For Rita Katz, director of extremist monitoring group SITE, or SITE, releasing videos of the beheadings of Sotloff and journalist James Foley before him has a straightforward purpose from an analytical standpoint: intimidation. The brutality demonstrated in the video says, "Don't mess with us." The Islamic State claim to be the only true Muslims and resort to murder and mayhem as a psychological tactic to terrorize other people. That's terrorism, said Asfaruddin, a professor at Indiana University's Religious Studies Department. Beheading has become a calling card for IS, which has used the method on opponents ranging from Syrian and Iraqi government troops to activists who have opposed its abuses. As well as the 2 U.S. journalists in the last 2 weeks, IS has also released videos of a Lebanese soldier and a Kurdish fighter being beheaded. The method has clearly been effective in spreading fear. When the group advanced in Iraq this year, hundreds of thousands fled in terror. Muslims express similar feelings online. This is talking later in the article about people being upset with the beheadings by ISIS. Muslims express similar feelings online, taking to Facebook and Twitter and after each new IS outrage, whether the crucifixion of Syrians or the reported trafficking of Yazidi women kidnapped in Iraq. Scholars of Islam say there is no crime for which beheading is religiously prescribed, though the tactic was used in war by Muslims and non-Muslims alike at the time of Prophet Muhammad and after. Beheading certainly was the common way to carry out criminal prosecutions throughout Islamic history, and it therefore was the default, said Haider Allah Hamoudi, an Islamic law expert and professor at Pittsburgh University Law School. The custom developed among peoples who were aware that it was on balance much less painful than other available means of execution. Beheading remains in use in Saudi Arabia, but Aramit noted that it is used only after a trial in the presence of a judge and where a pardon is not given. So this is saying that, well, ISIS is doing this under the flag of Islam, but Muslims here in America are saying, no, that's not us. That's not Islam. That's not this and that. And while I agree, my limited reading of, or my limited understanding of the institution that is Islam and the Muslim religion is that it is a very peaceful religion. Supposed to be, at least. At least that's what the scriptures teach. But, you know, and of course, obviously, and it pains me that I have to say this, of course, I don't think all Muslims are terrorists. I don't think, you know, probably less than the BS percentage I gave for men that are lying in wait aggravated assault. What was it, 5%? Aggravated assault participants. Well, the women are participants too, but the men are the ones that are like, hey, let's do this. So less than 5%? Can we call it that? Less than 5% of Islam are extremists that are willing to commit jihad and violence upon people? Does that work? Call it that? Higher, lower? Pick a lower number. I don't care. Whatever. Very, 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 very few people that believe the teachings of Islam are people that would resort to violence to further Islam or to press it or to oppress people with it or to press it upon others. Okay. And every time something like this happens, and it happened a lot around 9/11, is you would have people from the Muslim community here in America saying, see, this isn't us. This isn't Islam. And I say, okay, yes, I get that. But, you know, those people are still using Islam to do it. You know, people can say up and down 99% of Muslim culture is nonviolent with respect to their religion, non-extremist, nonviolent extremists they're nonviolent, nor are they extremists with respect to their religion. And I say, okay, but there are still people there's that 1% that are. And I don't know who I'm talking to when I say things. You know, none of us do it. I say, yeah, but you know, you still have relatives and compatriots throughout the world that are putting these imams and lionizing these fighters, these champions of Islam, these people that are extremist and violent. Those people exist, and they are in, they are in your mosques, and they are in your religion, and you say, well, that's not us. Where am I supposed to draw the line? How am I supposed to know who I'm talking to and to say nice things or to not talk about Muhammad? How do I know? Because they're 99% of Muslims. When you talk about Muhammad, they won't care. You can draw Muhammad all they want. And they might have like disgust at it, like please don't do that. But you do it, and they go, all right, well, you're just a jackass. I'm going to go away from you. But then there are those same people that draw Muhammad, and they're going to try to kill you. They're going to come and get you. Say, well, which is which? I'm still scared. I'm still scared. And these people, these Muslims, are the same ones that won't stand up and tell those people, no. Stop doing this. You say, well, that's not all. They say that's not all Islam. I say, okay, well then tell those other guys to stop. Get them to stop it. Stop it. They say, well, no. We're not going to screw with them. They might kill us. I say, that's exactly my point. So what we have is ISIS and all these extremist groups do these under the flag of Islam, under the guise of the Muslim religion. And everybody said, well, that's not really Muslim religion. That's not really Islam. Okay, but you don't tell them to stop, do you? You're not stopping them. You're still ascribing to this. You're still sending money back to Yemen, to Libya. You're still doing all that, right? You're still supporting your family members in those places who are going to populate these mosques, who are going to instill these imams in power and to read their fatwas. You're still doing that. Well, what am I supposed to say then? Well, and what's more, they are talking about, they say, well, we are Islam. You guys are not Islam. You guys, the nonviolent guys, aren't Islam. We are. Well, who am I supposed to believe? I don't know. I'm not Islamic. No idea. And we're going to wrap up the news today by saying nearly 1 in 10 this is from the LA Times, nearly 1 in 10 California workers are in country illegally, study finds. A report released Wednesday by researchers at USC found that immigrants who are in California illegally make up nearly 10% of the state's workforce and contribute $130 billion annually to its gross domestic product. This study, which was conducted in conjunction with the California Immigrant Policy Center, was based on census data and other statistics, including data from the Department of Labor and the Department of Homeland Security. It looked at a variety of ways the estimated 2.6 million immigrants living in California without permission participated in state life. According to the study's findings, immigrants who are in California illegally make up 38% of the agriculture industry and 14% of the construction industry statewide. Half of the immigrants in the state illegally have been here for at least 10 years. Roughly 58% do not have health insurance, and nearly 3 in 4 live in households that include U.S. citizens. But I want to focus on the big number. Nearly 1 in 10 California workers are in country illegally, the study finds. Is that bad? I mean, what are the statistics on heart disease or prostate cancer for men in America? What is it? 1 in 5? 1 in 5 or 6 for heart disease, 1 in 7 or something like that for prostate cancer. Big numbers, big percentage of people in America are going to develop some form of cancer or some form of heart disease or prostate cancer. And you can widen that to include any form of cancer. Oh, okay. I mean, those are big numbers. 1 in 10 in California, which is right there, workers are in the country illegally. That doesn't seem like, I mean, in the annals of big problems that that are affecting society, our large portion of our society, immigrants providing $138 billion to the gross domestic product of California, probably very low on that list. 1 in 10. Okay. 90% is pretty good. You get 90% on a test. What do you hey, woohoo, it's Miller time, baby. Miller time. Love Miller time. It's the best time. And I want to close with this thought. We've got 1 in 10 California workers who are in the country illegally, supposedly committing $130 billion to the gross domestic product, who don't have, 58% of whom don't have health insurance, probably because they either can't afford it or that would put them on the radar for Gringo going to come get you. So they don't want to do it or can't do it. And I don't know the statistics on they do pay income tax, or they pay sales tax because they buy things, right? They got to eat. So they pay sales tax. If California has sales tax, they pay it. They pay that kind of tax. So they're kind of paying for stuff. If they're paying rent, they're contributing to real estate tax. They may be living in a slum illegally, but as long as that real estate is paying taxes to the local municipality, well, they're paying real estate tax or some form of it. Why can't we just make them citizens? Why, really? Why do they have to take a test and learn things that many Americans who pass through the public school system in America don't know? Who's the third guy in line? The third guy in line for the presidency. President dead. Vice president dead. Who's up next? Many of you probably pass through the U.S. education system. Immigrants have to know this. Do you? All right, let's bring it home. Another great episode of The Lefty Show. I thank you all for joining. I had a great time putting on the show for you. I hope you had a great time listening. Thank you to everybody for watching, liking, favoriting, subscribing, and liking, and all the stuff that you do on YouTube. YouTube.com/LeftyOX is where you can find the show in its YouTube formation. You can also find gaming content and vlogs, all the sort there, YouTube.com/LeftyOX. Thank you to everybody that's been following me on Twitter at Lefty643. Stay up to date on all the latest and greatest Lefty Show news. Just go to Twitter.com/Lefty643. Hit the follow button, and you won't be disappointed. Thank you to everybody that's been sharing the show, helping the show grow, sharing it with friends, family, and coworkers. You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, Android apps, iOS, iTunes Store. Just search The Lefty Show. Be sure to subscribe and download all the latest episodes. Thank you to everybody that's been donating to imraising.com/643 Productions. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Enjoy your weekend. I'll catch you next time. I'm out. Bye.
Pay that man his money!